What if you could become the best version of yourself and build the life that you've always dreamed of? Today, I'm going to show you how with a life audit that will set you up for an incredible 2025. Before we dive in, let's set the mood. Get comfortable, grab a cozy blanket, get a beverage of your choice, maybe put on some relaxing music, and together, let's just close our eyes and take a deep breath. Breathe in deeply through your nose, filling your lungs completely, and then exhale slowly through your pursed lips as if you're gently blowing out a candle. Now that we have gotten comfortable and cozy and grounded ourselves with our breath work, let's just dive right into this video. So let's start with the basics. What is a life audit? Think of it as a gentle self-reflection process, like a checkup on your life or an annual performance review like you have at work. It's structured, but it's not meant to feel rigid or stressful. So you might be wondering why you should even bother taking the time to do a life audit. A life audit brings clarity about what truly matters to you. It renews your sense of motivation and purpose. It gives you a chance to celebrate your progress and realign with your goals. It may sound like a lot of work, but the time that you will spend on this process is gonna pay off with a clearer sense of direction and a deeper level of accomplishment. I've been doing life audits for about 5 to 7 years now, and I finally have a system down for it that I feel like it really works for me. Doing these life audits has helped me not only achieve my goals, but increase my mental health, given me a clear idea of who I am, what I want, and what purpose I want to have in my life, as well as help me to become the best version of myself. Honestly, doing my life audit is one of my favorite things to look forward to towards the end of the year. Before I get into the specific steps of how to do a life audit, I do want to mention that you need to get yourself in the right mindset in order for this to work properly and be productive. So the first thing that I'm going to say about mindset is that you need to get really honest with yourself. You need to look in the mirror and you need to call yourself out. You don't want to sugarcoat things or avoid the hard stuff. You want to get deep and really take time to self-reflect, even if you have to look at things that upset you, things that you don't like about yourself. If you avoid the hard stuff or avoid the negative stuff, you're really only going to be fooling yourself, because once you can be truly honest and look at the stuff that isn't so fun and happy, that's where the real growth is going to happen. So the second thing that I'm going to mention is that this activity should be fun. It shouldn't be draining. It shouldn't be sucking your energy. It shouldn't feel like something that you don't want to do. So for me, that means putting on relaxing lo-fi music in the background, making sure that I'm wearing comfortable clothes, I'm using a cute notebook and my favorite pen, and I'm having a hot cup of tea, or I'm having a little treat between my breaks when I'm doing this. Depending on who you are, this may look different for you, but you definitely want to romanticize this experience in any way that you can, because you want to make it something that's enjoyable and something that you can look forward to, and look at it as a moment that you're taking to take care of yourself and to really connect with who you are. So step 1 is to reflect on the past year. This is where you're going to take a look back at what happened, what felt good, what didn't feel good, what worked, and what didn't work. If you feel like tackling the entire year is just too much, you could just pick one area that you want to focus on. So that could be your career, your finances, maybe your personal relationships, whatever feels like it's the most important to you right now. So some questions that you might want to be asking yourself while you're doing this reflection is, what brought you joy this year? What drained your energy? What were some of your favorite moments or memories from this year? what habits or routines worked well, what didn't work well, what goals did you complete and why. Take a look at any progress that you made with goals that you set for yourself from this past year. So for me, when I'm doing this reflection, this is typically what takes the longest. So I like to space this out over a couple days. So I will go back and look at my goal planner and take notes on all of the goals that I had, what I achieved, what I didn't achieve. I'll also look back at any journal entries to just get an overall vibe and feeling of what was going through my head, what was I thinking about. And I will even go back and look at a couple of my YouTube videos. So for example, I will probably be going through some of my unemployed diaries videos from this past year just to see how my mood shifted from the beginning of me getting laid off to now being 10 months into my layoff journey. Step 2 is to assess how things are going in different areas of your life. You're going to want to do a time audit. You want to look at your screen time, your social media habits, how much time you're watching TV, how much time you're spending scrolling on Instagram or TikTok. This may take a few days or a couple weeks to compile, but you want to be more aware of how you're spending your time and track how long it may take you to do certain things. At the beginning of the year, when I first started publishing consistently on YouTube, I started tracking the amount of time it took me to film and edit videos. So that way I had a general idea of how I can schedule YouTube as well as job searching and learning and upskilling into my life and to make it fit into my new routine and my new schedule I had since I lost my job. So one of the questions that you're going to want to ask yourself while you're doing this time audit is, am I spending my time in a way that aligns with my ambitions and my values? This time audit can be really eye-opening, especially if you are time blind and you're not realizing how much time you're putting into certain things or certain areas of your life. This is probably one of the least exciting parts of the whole audit. So if you're having a hard time staying focused with this and thinking about this and going through your screen time on your phone, you can chunk this into smaller breaks. So maybe you'll sit and go through this for 15 minutes, then you'll take a break, and then you come back. Or you could always do the 5-minute rule where you just work for 5 minutes and then you can choose to walk away. Or if you're into the groove of getting it done and you have that focus, then you can just keep moving throughout the exercise. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to take a look at the relationships in your life. So I do want to say that this may seem harsh, and I want you to take this with a grain of salt, but sometimes we don't reflect on our friendships and our relationships, and we end up being in some toxic, unhappy friendships. And if you're not looking at those and reflecting on those, then they can end up making you really miserable. So this is also where the concept of the law of averages comes into play, and this is accredited to a motivational speaker named Jim Rohn. So this concept says that you are the average of the 5 people that you most spend your time with. And I have seen other people say that it just goes beyond the 5 people, that you are the average of almost everyone that you come into contact with. So the idea in this concept is that your behaviors and mindset and even your success tends to mirror those that are closest to you. So think about the people that you spend the most time with. Are they supportive and positive? Do you share similar values? Do they align with the vision that you have for your life? Are they encouraging you to grow, or are they holding you back? If you want to elevate your life, you want to make sure that the people that you're surrounding yourself with are supportive and positive and are going to encourage you and lift you up instead of bringing you down. Lastly, you want to rate your satisfaction in different areas of your life. You can use a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest level of satisfaction, to see where you're thriving and where there's room for improvement. So the areas of your life that you want to give a rating to are your romantic relationships, friends and family, recreation and fun, mental health, personal growth, and then your physical health. So I also want to note that it's highly unlikely that anyone in the world is going to score a perfect 10 on all areas of their life, and that is perfectly okay. This isn't about perfection. It's about growth and understanding that this journey is constantly changing and evolving. There literally is no finish line to personal growth. It is just a constant path, a constant journey that's going to change over and over again throughout your lifetime. So step 3 of the life audit process is you're going to answer some questions to dive deeper into your self-reflection. If you're looking for more meaning within this process, try to dig deeper into each question. Don't write down just what happened, write down how it made you feel and why. So here are some questions and prompts to help you reflect more meaningfully. What moments this year made you feel most alive and why? What fears or challenges did I overcome and how did that change me? What did I learn about myself through the highs and lows? Who are the people who brought out the best in me? What activities or habits made me feel aligned with my true self? What am I most proud of from this past year? What goals did I achieve and why? What goals worked and didn't work and why? What are my favorite moments or memories from this past year? If tomorrow was your last day, what would you do? What fires you up? What are you passionate about? So I know that was a lot of prompts and you definitely don't have to do all of these. If you don't have time or don't want to do all these, I suggest picking one that you really want to answer and the one that you avoid answering, because getting uncomfortable can put you into a growth mindset and in a situation where you may learn something about yourself that you didn't expect. Since I have so many prompts and questions that I have given you throughout this video, I am going to have a downloadable work list below in the description box. You've just completed a ton of reflection, so this is where you want to start looking for patterns. So in this step, you want to ask yourself things like, are there habits or situations I'm consistently avoiding? What small changes made the biggest impact this year? This is where journaling and mind mapping can be really helpful. If you're new to this, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to find tons of different patterns. Just pick out one or two that stand out to you. This is just meant to be insightful and to help prepare us for the next step. So some patterns that I look for when I'm doing my own life audit are, is there a goal that I have consistently listed every single year that I still haven't achieved yet? I also like to take a look at my mood and why I was in that mood. So are there certain foods I'm eating or people I'm talking to or things that are happening that are consistently making me feel happy or sad or depressed? The next step is what I personally like to call the Becoming Her project, but feel free to call it whatever resonates with you. So maybe it's Becoming the Best Version of Myself project or Future Me or anything that feels personal to you. So in this step, I create a detailed list of what the best version of myself and my life looks like. And I get very detailed. So I go through everything. What do my finances look like? How much money am I making? How many streams of income do I have? Do I have investments? Do I have real estate property? I look at what's my style? What type of clothes do I wear? What are the fabrics of those clothes? How do I wear my makeup? How do I wear my hair? What are my hobbies? What are the books that I'm reading? What are the things that I'm learning? What type of friends do I have? What do I do with those friends? What are activities and things I like to enjoy? What foods am I eating? Do I cook? Do I go out to eat? I list qualities and behaviors that I admire and want to embody, like resilience, kindness, and empathy. So I have a document that is a couple pages long detailing all those things. So another important part of this step is identifying areas where you want to improve. So as an example, I'm just going to list a couple of these off to you. not putting things off that are hard, cut back on swear words and using slang, not being baited into arguments, not cutting others off or talking over them. By acknowledging these areas, I've created a roadmap of who I want to be. It also helps guide me as I make choices throughout the year. So now it's time to set and plan some goals for the upcoming year. You can start with just 3 goals for this upcoming year. One that's personal, one that's professional, and one that is just for fun. Keeping it simple and limiting how many goals you set for the upcoming year can make everything more manageable. I typically use a specific planner for goal planning. This past year for 2024, I used the Lavender Artist of Life planner, and while there were some aspects of it that I really enjoyed, I didn't find myself reaching for it or staying as consistent with it. So I am going to go back to the Power Sheets goal planner that I have used several times now for this upcoming year. So there is a lot that goes into the goal setting process alone, and I have spoken about this in more detail in the past in my 2023 goal setting video. So if you want to hear more about my goal setting process, feel free to check out that video after you finish up this one. If you would like more of a deep dive into goal setting and planning, let me know in the comments below and I would be happy to dive into that in another video. So there are 2 other exercises that are just completely voluntary. You don't have to do these if you don't want to. The first one I'm going to mention is creating a yearly mood board. And this is something that I've only been doing for a couple years now, but I really enjoy doing it. So you can go on to Pinterest, go online, download images, and create a vision board. You can also go old school and print out pictures or cut out images from magazines and paste those onto a board. Not only is this a really fun activity, but I found that visualizing my goals can be really motivating, and putting my vision board as my background on my laptop or on my phone is a constant reminder of what my goals are and what my ambitions are. So in a way, I'm constantly searing my goals and my dreams into my brain every time I go to my computer or look at my phone. Another thing that you can do is write a future letter to yourself. I have never done this, but I have heard from other people that they enjoy doing it. And if I have time this year, I might give it a try, but you could just write a letter to yourself. You could talk about how your year went, what you're looking forward to in the year to come, how you're feeling, what your thoughts are, what your favorite things, really anything you want, and then open it up a year later. And that would be a great way to look back and reflect on who you were a year ago. So the final step for the life audit is that you need to do regular check-ins. The yearly life audit isn't just a one and done thing. I recommend scheduling a quarterly or mid-year reset just to check in to see what's working and what's not, and if you need to make any adjustments. So sometimes life throws you unexpected things. So last year I had all of my goals and ambitions and my vision for this year set up. I wrote down everything in my goal planner, and very quickly that whole thing changed when I got laid off from my job. So I had to take a couple months to figure out what I was gonna do, where I'm gonna go with this year, and had to do a completely new reset and change all of my goals. So these life audits can be flexible and they can be subject to change depending on what may come up in your life. I also check in on my goals monthly during my monthly reset routine, and I'm not gonna lie, doing those videos is one of the biggest things that has helped me to stay more consistent with my goal setting and reviewing everything. So if you're like me and staying consistent and even remembering to schedule time to reflect is hard for you, I recommend scheduling an appointment with yourself after you complete your life audit, either 3 months down the road, monthly, or in the middle of the year, so that way it's already there and then you get the reminder coming up on your phone, because even 5 minutes of reflecting can make a big difference. Another option for staying consistent with your life audits, with your goals and your reflections, is finding an accountability partner. And if anyone watching is interested in finding an accountability partner, let me know in the comments, because I'd be happy to facilitate some sort of live group event where we could all join and put on some music, get a cup of tea or a coffee, and do our reflections together either monthly or quarterly, so that way you have something to look forward to and you have an accountability partner, or maybe more than one accountability partner depending on how many people decide to join. That is it for how to do an annual life audit. I hope this process brings you as much clarity and inspiration and motivation that it has brought me from doing it over the past few years. So let me know in the comments below what areas of your life you're most excited to work on this year. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you joined this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to connect with you in the next one.